Good morning, Grinders. Welcome to the DFS pregame show here on RotoGrinders. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. Blender at Blender HD. If you want to follow me on Twitter. And it's Friday, October 14th. And we'll be talking about the MMA slate, the UFC slate for fight night, whatever number it is, right? It's not a very good card, right? Truthfully, 12 fights. They're kind of getting these fights out of the way. Get these out of the way because next week is a UFC 280, probably the best card of the year, right? Next week's going to be a good card. This week, maybe not so much, but we'll take a look at some of the ownership, some leverage, some combinations maybe we should avoid. Answer your questions in the YouTube chat, right? You got any questions about MMA DFS? Feel free to post them in there. Suki Singh got there early this morning, beat out Wataz. There you go. Suki's back to first, as Dfs says. I saw you message Dfs on Twitter yesterday in the Showdown contest, the King of the Beach qualifier. Congratulations. Let's see if you can make it there, because you have to go through like an online, like 2 rounds or something like that to make it there. But good luck to you on there, right? Good luck to you on that. Jovan Normandia, good morning. Jay Brown, 764. You know what you do in the morning? You give me those thumbs, right? That little thumbs up button on YouTube, it helps us out, helps me out. I don't think it helps me out personally, but it helps the channel out. Do I care about the channel? Of course I care about the channel, so it helps me out also. So hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, know when we go live. Got a lot of content today on the channel, right? NFL content. NBA's coming back soon, right? We've got like 5 days until NBA's back. What else we got going on? The MMA Ground and Pound podcast should be out later today at some point. I did not record yesterday. I was feeling under the weather last night, so it was just Mike and Liam. They'll be breaking down all the fights for you. That's for premium members only. So you should sign up for a combo premium membership. I think we're running a sale. I think it's $40 off or something, $20 off, something for your first month. It's something. I know. I saw the promo. It was in my email, right? I got the email also. So feel free to sign up for combo premium, especially with NBA coming back. If you're playing PGA, MMA, you're playing MLB playoffs, right? Obviously NFL and everything. So it's the best value in the industry. You get all the tools, you get all the projections, you get all the ownership, all the content. It's the one size fits all. You get everything. All you can eat buffet of content. But we have the MMA slate. Not a very good one. This MMA slate, the context of this slate, we got a lot of fighters that are 2-1 favorites. Right, we got multiple guys that are 4-1, 5-1, 7-1 favorites up towards the top. Some of these fights. I mean, we have a lot of high variance fights, right? Like we have like the Menafield. Let's see, the Menafield Serkinov fight. Like that's like plus 100 for Menafield, plus 265 for Serkinov. That fight most likely doesn't go to distance. We got. I mean, the Todorovic Wright fight is, I don't know how it goes to distance, right? But a lot of this slate is not very trustworthy fighters. Like a lot of high variance fights, but I mean, the competition level is not the highest. So that's why we see like Pete Rodriguez over Mike Jackson. Like, okay, that's Pete Rodriguez. Do I trust him? No, but I mean, Mike Jackson's horrible. Right, Lucas Alexander's what he's made. He doesn't even have that much of experience. So he's Joe Anderson Brito is a minus 360 favorite. Victor Henry's a minus 400 favorite. We got the Askarov Royval fight. That could be a mess, right? Askarov should win, but I mean Royval could do something, right? And then the main event is, I mean, I'm all fine with women's main events, but maybe not this one, right? Grasso Araujo. I'm not. See, I think the field is going to overplay the main event, and I think the underdog, Viviane Araújo, is going to be way overowned. Because it's hard to make lineups. It's hard to make lineups on this slate. Trusting some of these these underdogs or whatever. This could be a slate where not many underdogs win. Okay. And then the underdogs that win, if they do win, are going to be optimal because probably they win in a way where, Jordan Wright just knocks the crap out of Todorovic before Todorovic knocks Jordan Wright out. Jordan Wright's never gone to decision. I don't think, and what, he's had like 12 fights? I think only 2 have made it to the 3rd round, and most are over in the 1st round. So it's like these underdogs I'm looking down here, like Wright, Swanson, I guess, to some extent. Although people are high on him, but at plus 445 inside the distance, I don't know. People are going, but he's 39 and he's actually going down a weight class. That I don't know. I don't know about that. Serkinov, obviously, against Menafield. I think if it's on the feet, he's dead. Right. So he has to go to the ground. Like Royval could get a submission, I guess, early submission. I guess against Askarov. Askarov takes him down, and Royval like reverses and armbar or something. I don't know. Who knows? So like I feel like if there's an underdog that wins out of like this group, they're going to put up a big score, 90, 100, 110 points. That like dude, even in a 5-round victory from Viviana Araújo, you have to expect that the Grasso Araújo fight is going to be mostly played on its feet, right? So I mean, I just don't know how high the score is for the main event. Cash game, sure, yeah, you want to stack it, go right ahead, right? Nice floors, but as far as the ceiling, I'm most likely going to be under on both fighters. I mean, we have Grasso at 37% ownership and Araújo at 40. That's a little overboard. I think it'll be closer to I have it like 34 to 34 each. But still, 34 each means 65 to 70% of lineups will have a main event fighter in it. And I think compared to a lot of these 2-to-1 favorites can win and win quickly. Okay, and then we got in the mid-range, we got some the thing about this slate is that we don't even have an $8,200, $8,000 fight. We don't even have that fight. That's why roster construction is much tougher this week, because it's eliminating 2 fighters that could easily fit into lineups normally. And you almost have to build barbell style builds. And that's why I think a lot of people will end up with Araújo. If you're going to play Menafield instead of Serkinov, and if you're going to play Todorovic and not Jordan Wright, you almost have to play Araújo. Or, I mean, you could play a Sun Chow or Mike Jackson or something like that. Right? You can play CJ Vergara. I mean, you could do that, but I think that's going to make it more popular. We see here in lineup HQ, we start building this type of lineup where if we're playing Menafield and Todorovic, and then we're playing maybe Pete Rodriguez or Brito, one of these guys up here, right? Average remaining player salary is 76.33. Right? We're going to have to play someone in this range, and either multiple guys in this range, or we're going to have to play one very low one. So let's say we put in Askarov also. We can't even make that lineup, 68.50, without playing Mike Jackson and Lucas Alexander. You can't even do that. Right? So you got Menafield, Todorovic, Pete Rodriguez. That's why you put an Araújo there, 78.50. You could easily do something like Maximov, and well, you couldn't play Serkinov. Right? You got what do you got? 7,400, Cub Swanson. I expect to see these lineups are going to be popular. What you see right here, I would not play in a large field GPP. Hell, it's maybe you don't even play in a small field. Right? You got the 3 fighters over potentially 40+% owned, and another one that's almost 40% owned. These are the combinations to avoid. Right? But it's very hard to not play Araújo in lineups where you're trying to jam in. Imagine trying. Okay, let's say I'm not going to play Menafield. Right? So I'm going to go down. I'm going to play Brandon not Royval, Serkinov instead. Right? 81.67. It's well, once you put in someone else, you're going to try to go double barbell, Brito up there. It's how do you not play Araújo in this lineup? How do you not play, something around? You already have Serkinov in your lineup. I mean, I guess you could play Jordan Wright. I mean, you already have Todorovic in there. So it's a lot of these combinations involve Araújo, and then you have 79 and you play Malkoun. Right? So even the barbell, even when you play Rodriguez and Brito, both at 95, 9,400, you can still end up with Araújo and these types of lineups. So my attitude in building lineups now, To be fully transparent, I'm only playing 6 lineups tomorrow. Okay, I'm playing primarily just small field stuff. One of them, two of the reasons. One, it's not a good card. I don't want to devote that much volume to it. The constructions that I think are most unique are also low win probability. So I don't necessarily want to play large field contests. I think it's harder to be unique on this slate, just based on the fact that like if this slate was a slate where like the biggest favorite was only a 3-1 favorite, and we had a lot of like pick'em fights, I'd have no problem playing 150 into the large field. But it's these slates where it's quite possible that you get more unique lineups, the more underdogs that win. Okay, because you can then leave more salary on the table. There's more ways to go up and down, and because you get a winner here, you get a loser there, and finding leverage and things like that. I don't think this is that type of slate. I think this is the type of slate. This is the type of slate where it's quite possible. It's more likely than on other slates that the highest scoring underdog that loses may be in the optimal line. Those are the types of slates where I don't want to put as much volume in, because most likely it's going to be some type of 5, 10 or more dupe lineup that wins. So I want to avoid large fields. Smaller fields, I don't have to worry about it as much, right? You're playing a 200, 300 person field, right? Do I have to play Mike Jackson in any lineup? No, I don't. I don't have to. I mean, you could, right? You could, but you don't have to. Do you have to leave 4,000 on the table for those contests? No, you don't, right? You're probably not 4,000, but even 2,000, probably not. So I'm just looking at the combinations that like I even should be avoiding, and like there's multiple of them. Like I would make a group. Probably like don't play Arajo in like these barbelly lineups, right? So like if like Pete Rodriguez, Brito, Arajo lineups, like I would avoid those. But even like even if you put in like Rodriguez, Brito, Menefield, like I'd almost do Pete Rodriguez, Brito, Menefield, Todorovic, Grasso, Arajo, and then do like a max 2 of that. So I don't think there's going to necessarily be an underdog that's going to be as owned as Arajo in combination like that. I mean, we have Royval at 30%. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't think he'll come in at 30%. I like Askarov. I mean, to me, dude, you tell me that Brandon Royval is going to be 30% owned, and Askarov up here at 9,200 is going to be 17 and lower than Rodriguez and Brito. It's like Askarov could. I mean, dude, he could get 120 points in a decision. Like Askarov could go to takedown city. Royval's takedown defense is like almost non-existent. Right, 30-something percent takedown defense. So I could see him going to takedown town. He's going to takedown town. Right, and same thing with this Maximov Malkoun fight. Like this Maximov Malkoun fight is, I mean, this is most likely going to be played out on the mat. So like the winner of this could either come really quickly via submission, or, have a lot of, takedown, ground control, ground strikes. I think Maximov is way better than Malkoun personally, but I mean, Malkoun could take Maximov down. Just I don't know if Malkoun could really do anything else other than that. Maximov is like a black belt in top level jiu-jitsu, whatever, right? Just that like on the feet, like these guys are like, this is gonna look like an amateur fight on the feet when it comes to like striking, right? It's not going to look very good. Then we have Cub Swanson. I've heard a lot of talk on other podcasts that Cub Swanson is going to be popular against Jonathan Martinez, because Martinez looks a little chinny. He's gotten chin checked in a couple of fights. Fights that he's won, he's gotten knocked down. That's been the narrative, but he's 39 years old and he's going down to 135. That can't be good, right? I don't know. Or is it name value? Is that people are just looking at it from name value standpoint? I mean, it's hard to trust anyone down here. I mean, this is what I mean. You're going like, I have to play. If I'm not going to play Arajo, I got to play Jordan Wright, Cub Swanson, Misha Serkinov, CJ Vergara, who has like almost no skill. He's just a tough guy, right? Royval, A Sun Tzu, he's what, 8 million years old. So I mean, I don't know what he's gonna do. He's the high dude. Mike Jackson has a better ITD line than a Sun Tzu. Right? Look at that. Mike Jackson's plus 600 inside the distance. A Sun Tzu's plus 635. But if he's facing Victor Henry, like these guys, you can't trust these guys. Even Brito, Brito was like a big dog. I mean, like, yeah, he knocked out Philly, Andre Feely in the 30 something seconds in. But I don't think Joe Anderson Brito is much that other than just one dimensional. Like, okay, he's gonna come at you fast, and after 5 minutes, be dead. Right? There's a lot of those fights. I can tell you that. Right? There's a lot of fights that, like, if something doesn't happen in the first round, like, I don't know if these fighters could last 3 rounds. I mean, and that's also one of the main concerns with Viviana Araújo. I mean, this is her first 5-round fight, and she barely has a gas tank for three rounds. So, like, even if she does attempt takedowns, like, Grasso's not going to go. I mean, Grasso's basically a volume striker at 9,000. So, like, I've no problem not playing Grasso and just hope that, she doesn't put up 240 significant strikes. But Araújo, it's like, if she wins, it's probably going to be a decision or sometimes, I mean, is she even a submission threat? I mean, I don't know. This is not a very good main event, right? But it's not a very good card in general. But I think the slate will come down to who wins. Really, the 2 fights I think it comes down to. But I would say the 3 fights that it comes down to. Let's say the 4 fights that it comes down to. Number 1 is Todorovic, right? Like, good luck fading that fight. I mean, just good luck. I mean, I that's the fight that's most likely to end inside the distance by a lot. So whoever wins that fight, if that happens in the first round, like, that probably going to be in the optimal at their prices, right? 8,700 and 7,500, like knockout 100 plus points, you're good. Then you have the Menefield Serkinov fight. I mean, that's plus 100 for Menefield, plus 265 for Serkinov. Whoever wins that's a first round fight also. Obviously, Menefield's a little bit more expensive. That's why I'm leaning more on the Serkinov side, especially if Menefield's going to be 38% owned. Then you have the Maximov, that middle fight. Maximov and Malkoun are going to fit into a lot of your lineups. Even if you're like, I don't really care about the fight, it's most likely not going to end inside the distance. Most likely this goes to decision. But since they're both grapplers, they're both, at least, ground fighters, the likelihood of like a decent score out of the winner is pretty good, even in decision. But they just fit in so many lineups. Like, for you to go up here or down, like, you're probably going to be playing one of these 2 guys. That's why their ownership, 28, 26%. Like, there's no $8,200, $8,000 fight. And I also think if this Royval ownership is right, I think the Askarov Royval fight as well. Is it a fight you need to have? No, because Askarov doesn't have to necessarily score well at 9,200. But Royval apparently is going to be popular. Apparently. I have him as overowned. Right? I have a lot of guys. I mean, I have Swanson is overowned right now. I have Vergara is overowned. I have Royval is overowned. I got, I prefer Maximov over Malkoun. Right? I have, but even at the high end, it's like I have Menefield as overowned in comparison. But like someone like Todorovic, I don't. Like, to me, Pete Rodriguez and Dusko Todorovic, if you want to use the term good chalk, even though there's no such thing as that, like, I have them underowned because, I mean, their lines are just ridiculous. Minus 135 inside the distance for 8,700, plus 135 in the first round, 43%. Right? He's not going to be 43% owned, probably. Pete Rodriguez, round 1, minus 165 against Mike Jackson. 62%. I mean, and if you win the first round, essentially you're getting 100 plus points. But of course, he's 9,500. But like, Todorovic is 800 cheaper, and he's a 43% in the first round. So I mean, like, I still think, like, starting with Rodriguez, I mean, out of my 6 lineups, I may have like 2 or 3 that literally just start. Pete Rodriguez, Dusko Todorovic. Based on at least what I currently see now. I haven't updated the betting lines, which aren't going to move that much since yesterday. Then I obviously have to go around the industry, take a look at ownership, take a look at some other projections, see what falls into place. But in my 6 lineups, I don't mind having like Todorovic in 4 and Wright in 2. Right, and just whoever wins that fight, I got the winner. The Menafield Serkinov fight, I think I'm more likely to have Serkinov and not necessarily Menafield. Like Menafield, you just have, basically with Menafield, you have to survive the first 5 minutes. Right? If you fade Menafield, it's like it's either he's going to knock him out early or he's not going to score well enough anyway. For 8,900. Serkinov has more paths to get there at his price. Dfix says bad slates seem to create the best opportunities for edge. Bad cards, sure, but not necessarily bad slates. Like I said, there's more edge. Understand that your opponents, a wide variety, the field of your opponents that you play regularly, that play UFC, DFS regularly, tend to stick to certain rules and strategies. We have, especially the large field. I'm not talking about the smaller stuff. I'm not talking about the higher stake stuff. Most people spend most of their salary, okay? Most people, regardless of the context of the slate, no matter if there's 10 fights or 15 fights, right? Most people do that. Most people prioritize a main event fighter. They go, well, there are 5 rounds. I gotta play one of them, no matter what the context of the slate or anything like that. So that's going to happen slate after slate regardless. I like playing on the slates where those 2 things that people just do too much of without thinking is more incorrect on the slate than correct. Okay? So one of them, I believe, is incorrect. I think the field is going to the main event is going to be overowned for this slate, which is good. Provides an edge. But spending all of your salary or most of your salary is more correct on this slate. Right? It's less correct on slates where there's a lot of pick'em fights, where the $9,500 fighter is in minus 700. It's more like, oh, the biggest favorite is minus 265, right? And you have a $9,000 fighter that's only minus 170, right? The fights are way closer lined, which means it's more likely that you get multiple underdogs that win because the fight's close, right? So a lineup that has 48-7 in total ain't that much worse than a lineup that has 90 to 49-8 in it. But the field is going to spend the salary most of the time anyway. On this slate, it's more likely on this slate that a lineup that spends 49.5 or above, 49.7, 40 as you get closer to 50K, the win probability goes up dramatically. If you're going to play a lineup this slate that leaves 2,000 on the table, your win probability goes dramatically down because the fights aren't that close. I mean, outside of what, 3 fights? Outside of 3 fights, the rest of the 3 out of 12, 9 out of 12 are 2-1 favorites or above. I like the slates where more than half the slates are under 2-1. This isn't that slate. So that's why it's like it's a 12-fight card. Now, if it was a 15-fight card and it would still look like that, at least now there's more options. But on a 12-fight slate, I was trying to build some lineups yesterday. That's why I decided on I'm just going to play 6 lineups. I'm just trying to build large field lineups and say, yeah, if I don't mind playing a lot of Lucas Alexander or Rafael Assunção or Mike Jackson, like if I don't mind having 20% of each, like, yeah, okay, I could play this slate in large field. If I don't mind having, a lot of Victor Henry, Jonathan Martinez lineups, Piero Rodriguez lineups, like that type of lineup, if I don't mind having a lot of those, not some, a lot, I need to avoid so much stuff and still be able to, spend 49.5 and get 6 winners in my lineup. Like it's tough. So it's like, well, can I build any lineups with Pete Rodriguez and Dusko Todorovic? Well, not as many as I wanted to. So I'm like, I'll just play the 200-man contests, Right? I'll just play the $100 single entry. I'll play the $200 3 max. I'll play the qualifiers. Right? I'll do something like that. I'll play the $55 whatever the hell. Right? With one entry, the $40 single entry. You know, I'll spread it out to 6 lineups, and just like, okay, that's it. And if I don't play the CJ Vergara, the Tyra fight or something, if I don't play the Sun Sao Victor Henry fight, then who cares? Then whatever. If that's the optimal, that's the winner, so be it. But I mean, if I'm not playing large field contests, like you don't need the nuts. You don't need the nuts in small field to win, right? I've won the 555 with a losing fighter. Okay, like to put things into perspective, I've won the 555 with a losing fighter on a slate. Okay, that was a slate where like a lot of chalk failed. Right, a lot of chalk failed, and the main chalk that failed I didn't have, and I had the leverage off of that. I had the opponent of those chalky people, and I still had a 16 point or something loser. Still won the 555, right? Because 300 person contest, 200, 300 person contest. So much chalk condensed, and all those lineups are dead. DS, who's low owned that has a high ceiling? No one. It's a 12 fight card. There's no one that's going to be low owned. If they're low owned, they're low owned for a reason. It's about the combinations that you put together, not the fighters that you take. Right? Remember, it's about lineups, not players. Dude, there's plenty of Pete Rodriguez, Dusko Todorovic lineups that I'd never play in a large field contest. Because I'm not going to also play Menefield, and then also play Arajo, and then also play whoever, Royval, or I mean, it's like, dude, I'm not going to just eat 30+% ownership in 5 spots in my lineup. I'm just not going to do that. Find a way to get different, but the way that you get different is not something that you'll even like. You're going to be playing Sam Hughes. You're going to be playing Rafael Asuncao. You're going to be playing someone. You're going to play Tatsura Taira in your lineup, or Asker. I mean, that's why I said, like, Askarov at 18%. Like, he should be higher owned. I understand Victor Henry. Fine. I understand Tyra. I don't know why. 18% seems low. I mean, I have him as underowned on here, but not like, I mean, he should be like 22 to 24%. So I think I'm, trying to play Rodriguez, Askarov. Like, let's take a look at Rodriguez, Askarov, Todorovic. Like, what do those lineups look like? Pete Rodriguez, Askarov, because you're forced into certain things. I mean, this is what I mean. Like, how many of these lineups can you build? How many combinations are there? Average remaining player salaries, 75-33. Right? I think this is a Serkinov lineup to leverage off of Menefield ownership. Right? So you play Serkinov there. Like, I want to avoid playing Arajo, but can I? If I play Arajo there, then I could play, Malkoun, I guess? Right? It sticks you in this spot where, like, what are you going to do? You can't play Wright, play Brandon Davis. What does this lineup look like? 7,600? Then Sam Hughes? Like, I don't want to do, no. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how many of these lineups can you build? You're already playing 240% on guys, so it's like, unless you don't play Todorovic, unless you don't play Pete Rodriguez. Yeah, that opens things up. But there's nowhere to go. I mean, there's just nowhere to go. Do I play Royval? No, I can't in an Askarov lineup. Even if I do play Arajo, like at the 8,100, that doesn't get me anywhere. So great, I'm playing Malkoun or Davis, or I'm gonna run into a dupe with this lineup, even in a small field. So maybe you don't play Pete Rodriguez, right? So instead of Pete Rodriguez, you start with Askarov, right? Then you play Tyra or something like that. Askarov, Tyra, Todorovic, Serkinov. And then you could play Maximov and the $7,400 fighter. And Cub Swanson, right? He's still stuck in he still gets stuck in this range again. Now you can see, I mean, this is what I was doing yesterday. I was like, okay, what lineups kind of fit together like this, and running combinations in lineup HQ. And I'm like, I'm putting them in the combo calculator and my MMA odd sheet. I'm putting it in the duplication predictor in the theory of DFS tools. It's like I'm looking at, okay, let me take a look at the lineups that are the least likely to be duped. And I look at those lineups and I'm like, dude, do I really have the guts to just put like $4,000 worth of volume on like 20% of Mike Jackson and 20% of Lucas Alexander and Rafael Assunção? Do I feel comfortable doing that? That's the right thing to do. I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking and going, this is the right thing to do. But the variance of this is going to be insane. It's quite likely that the winning lineup tomorrow in the large field contest is duped 47 times. And if that happens and I don't have it, I'm going to lose a lot of money. So that's why, in that realization going through, it's like, I'll wait to put my volume down on the UFC 280 card, right? I'll play small field because that card's good, and I also have tons of tickets, right? I got 3 555 tickets. I got a $500 qualifier ticket. I got I think 40 something $25 large field GPP ticket. I got tons of tickets for that, so I'll wait for that. Okay, talked a little about the MMA slate. If you got any questions? Be a short show. You could always post them in the chat. I'm always here to answer. Looking through the MMA card. Remember, 4:00 Eastern lock tomorrow. Remember the UFC 280 card is from what, Abu Dhabi? So that card is at 11 in the morning Eastern? I don't know why I'm reminding you, 8 days in advance. That card's a very early card. But this is early enough. I like these. These are my favorite time is the 4:00. Right? 4 or even 2. Like when they do it in Europe, when they do it in like Paris or England or something. 11 in the morning, maybe not so much. But 4, I like when the main event is done by 10. We're done. We're out of here. We're not up until 1:30 in the morning. Defect, you have an RG discount code for what? For RG? I don't know. Click on the link in the description. Get 10% off, $10 off something. I'm not in charge of any of that. I have no idea. I know that they run stuff. I know that they're whatever. For Lineup HQ, well, I mean, it's part of Combo Premium. It's part of any premium package. I'm assuming if you go to rotogrinders.com/premium, there'll be some promo or something that'll show you something. I don't know. Email support at rotogrinders.com. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. The $10 off your first month is always viable. But I think they're running an even better promotion. I got it in my email. I don't know. Okay, so give me those thumbs ups. Thummy thumbs. Give me the thummy thumbs. Right? Thumb fighting, remember? Thumb fighting. It's Fighting Friday, so thumb fighting. Give me the thumb. Thumbs up. The like button. I call it the thummy thumbs. Right? No one else does that. People call it the like button. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We'll be back on Monday. Going over the NFL, right? Review the NFL stuff. All right, we got to wait on some injury. Is there that much injury news for NFL? T. Higgins. T. Higgins is suited up for today's walkthrough. Hasn't practiced at all this week. Yeah, we gotta wait on some injury stuff. Gotta wait on some injury stuff. But I'll be doing the NFL game theory, premium game theory show later today. We record that at 2:00, so that should be out later this afternoon. That's for premium members. And I'll also be on the Blitz show tomorrow. I'm filling in for Will again. So that'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, that'll be posted. That's only for premium members also. You got to be a premium member. You got to be a premium member to get into my my Discord channel. In the RotoGrinders Discord, Blender's Game Theory. You can talk to me. That's the place to talk to me. Right? If you want to talk to me, that's where you go. Not my DMs, not anything. You could email me. I mean, I don't mind email. But really, Blender's Game Theory channel. You could ask me anything there. Talk about strategy, anything you want. Anything you want. I even do Zoom coaching calls 2 or 3 times a month. I think the next one is coming up on Tuesday night. No, not Tuesday. No, I'm away Tuesday night. When's the next one? It's at some point, right? It's on the follow Tuesday. Oh, and now we just got news. Okay, but before we go, this slate is now 11 fights. Askarov versus Royval is off. Askarov was unable to make weight and turned down a catch weight. So now we're down to 11. So now, good thing I didn't play large field, right? Because now we're going to reduce even more of the amount of combinations that you can make. So Askarov and Royval are off. Yeah, really bad card. Really bad card. But at least it's over quicker, right? 11 fights on that. They just have more fluff. Now there's just going to be more fluff in between fights. Great. So we'll get out of here. This is the most disgruntled UFC DFS preview show that I've done on Fridays. But you can give it a thumbs up anyway. And I'll be back on Monday with James McCool reviewing the NFL slate and answering your DFS strategy questions like I always do. Right? I try to do at least. Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern. On the DFS pregame show on RotoGrinders.com.